JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamonds Unbreakable, episode 25, Adam Heartfather. Now, this episode had two different story arcs from the manga, so let's talk about the one that was shown the most, the Adam Heartfather arc. Now, after the events of the previous episode, Josuke, Okuyasu, Koichi, and Jotaro go to Kira's house to investigate and find anything about Kira that'll help them pinpoint and narrow down his new location and his new look. Unfortunately, they couldn't find anything that'll help them, but we did actually learn some new things about Kira. Kira, as a kid, has always tried to not stand out in order to hide his high intellect, his hobbies, and abilities so that he would avoid trouble and not stand out. In fact, he would go so far as to win third place in every contest or competition that he would be in as a kid. Not only that, but we learned that he was born with two parents of older age, and the father, Yoshihiro Kira, died of an illness, and the mother died of natural causes. Now, I did hear one thing about this, and I'm not really sure if this is true, but I did hear that if kids are born with parents who are older, somewhere around the 40s or 50s, then they would have a higher chance of getting mental disorders or mental disabilities. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, then that might explain why Kira has major OCD and his obsession with killing people and his fetish for hands or something. But again, don't take my word for it. This is just something that I did hear about. However, despite not finding anything about Kira's hobbies or abilities, I did find out one other thing about Kira. This guy keeps his fingernail and toenail clippings every year. Yeah, that was very weird. Josuke found these bottles of these nail clippings, each one representing a year, starting from 1983, the same year that he killed Raimi. And he even keeps a data journal with the lengths of his fingernail and toenail clippings on each finger and toe, which is very weird. But the reason why he does this, according to Jotaro, is to figure out his condition of killing people, because depending on the length of his nails, depends on his condition to kill people. So what, the greater the length, the better he is at killing people? I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, that's the only hobby we know that Kira has. Suddenly this camera takes a picture of Jotaro and Josuke. In the photo, they see Yoshihiro Kira, Kira's father, and it turns out that Kira's dad is now a ghost who hasn't passed on, and he's going to kill Jotaro and Josuke and eventually Koichi and Okuyasu to protect his son. Believe me, that's not the weirdest thing that happens in this episode, because Kira's dad has a stand. Yeah, ghosts can have stands apparently, but you know, if you think about it, it actually makes sense. I mean, Raimi saw Heaven's Door, and Heaven's Door worked on Raimi, so stands can work on ghosts, and ghosts can have stands. So yeah, I totally buy it. I mean, Dio was a vampire, and he got a stand, so alright. Now, Yoshihiro's stand, Adam Heartfather, is a stand that allows him to trap people, their souls technically, in the photos, and allows him to control the dimension in the photo. Think of it as like Jay Giles' stand, the Hangman, but instead of mirrors, it's photos. So whatever Yoshihiro does in the photo will happen in real life. And whoever's picture was taken because of the stand, the person cannot escape in the room because they're trapped in the photo. And if anyone tries to get into the same place that the photo is in, they would just end up at the other side. So Jotaro and Josuke were trapped in the room because of the photo, and they can't get out. And Koichi and Okuyasu can't get in because they would end up in the other side of the room. Not only that, but they can't destroy the photo, otherwise they would get destroyed themselves. When Crazy Diamonds, Josuke's stand, tore the photo into pieces, Jotaro and Josuke were getting torn into pieces as well, so Josuke had to repair the photo so that they wouldn't, break apart. So Yoshihiro plans to kill the guys by using this knife that was in a drawer for some reason and chop off their heads. And Jotaro, gave up on trying to stop Yoshihiro because even if he could stop time, nothing would technically stop Yoshihiro from killing them since, everything that happens in the photo will happen in real life no matter what. However, Jotaro did have a plan, And what he does is he traps Yoshihiro in another photo by taking another picture of just Yoshihiro in that photo, leaving him in this empty photo with nothing in there. Where Yoshihiro can fly in the photo. I don't know if that's part of the stand ability or the ghost ability, but yeah, he can do that, and he can technically like leave the photo since he's a ghost. So Jotaro traps him by folding the photo, wrapping it in tape, and then sticking it on a nearby wooden post so that he wouldn't escape. And he even used Star Platinum to smash the camera so that he wouldn't create another photo trapping them. So yeah, even though Jotaro did say that he gave up on stopping Yoshihiro, he technically still stopped him by trapping him in the photo, but either way, kudos to Jotaro. Jotaro then tells Josuke to say something cool to Ghost Dad, and all Josuke would say is, you didn't scare me at all, you idiots! Well, I'll give him A for effort, but the overall execution, C+, or B- at best. Although it's funny, that kind of reminded me of the time when he told Abdul to say something cool during the Dark Blue Moon episode, which I actually thought was a nice callback to it. Still miss Abdul though, poor guy. The guys split up to investigate even further into the house to find something, because whatever this thing is the reason why Yoshihiro attacked them in the first place, to prevent them from finding something. Yoshihiro, on the other hand, tried to trick Koichi and Okuyasu to open the photo, pretending that he couldn't breathe. Even though he's a freaking ghost, he doesn't need to breathe, which is stupid. And Okuyasu didn't buy it. In fact, he stuck more tags onto the photo, which was pretty funny, especially with that weird laugh that he made, that cat laugh, which is weird. Anyway, Yoshihiro figured out that he was on a wooden post, and he tricked Koichi and Okuyasu into believing that he escaped, even though he really shouldn't have escaped, because he is trapped in a photo and the photo is completely black. There's nothing in there for him to alter it or to change it for him to escape in the real world. Plus, if he were to escape, the only way he could was out of the photo, which he can't. So what the hell? Why did they not think that? But I guess, you know, they weren't that smart, unfortunately, because Okuyasu like opened up the photo to see if Yoshihiro was still there, but then the string like came out and stuck on the nearby corner of the room, and it was the string coming from his shirt, and Yoshihiro was able to escape. God damn it. Good job, Okuyasu and Koichi. Good job. Meanwhile, with Josuke, he discovered the one thing that Yoshihiro was hiding from them. Another bow and arrow. There is another one. I freaking called it. I knew that there was going to be another arrow, because it would be pretty dumb if Yoshihiro got the same arrow that they retrieved earlier. So it's been confirmed that there is more than one arrow, but we don't know how many there are out there in the world. But Yoshihiro has an arrow, which is actually the reason why Kira got his dad to kill her queen. Kira's dad used the arrow on him for some reason. In fact, I don't even know why he wanted the arrow in the first place. There's still a lot of stuff we need to know about this bow and arrow. But anyway, Yoshihiro then caught the arrow and got away by lassoing the neck of a crow flying away. Yeah, that actually happened. That was weird. And he was too far away for any of their stands to go after him. Although, here's an idea. Why not use the hand to bring him closer? Or better yet, use the hand to bring yourselves closer to him and then capture Yoshihiro again. You know, you think they would do that, considering what we've seen of the hand so far. Like, why did they not think of using the hand? Like, come on! I swear, sometimes I feel like Araki just made them stupider so that part 4 will last much longer. We do actually learn a little bit more about this arrow. It's been confirmed that Enya, back in part 3, had more than one arrow. And the first one somehow got to Keicho, which we still don't know how the hell he got it. The other arrow, Enya gave it to Yoshihiro for some reason. Maybe it was for her plan or for Dio's plan. But then again, we don't know exactly when Yoshihiro met Enya and why he wanted that arrow. And for all we know, this could have been before or after Enya met Dio. But considering what we know about the year so far, this could have been before the events of Stardust Crusaders. So sometime around 1983, 1984, or maybe even 1985, I don't know. Not only that, but according to Jotaro, the arrow was the reason why Dio managed to gather so many of his minions, of the stand users that we saw back in part 3, which... okay, I mean, I guess that in hindsight makes sense, but this is kind of like retconning in a way, because we don't know how many of them got their stands from the arrow, and for all we know, some of them were born with their stands. So which ones are the ones that were born with the stand, and which ones are the ones that got the stand from the arrow? Which, okay, but at least on the plus side, we got to see Dio and Enya again, so, yeah. So many questions about this freaking arrow thing, like, I swear. So what Yoshihiro plans to do now is to create an army of stand users to go after the main group to prevent them from going after Kira in order to protect his son, because he loves his son very much, and he knew about his killings, but if that was what made his son happy, then he would support him. I will admit, you can definitely tell that he really cares for his son, but more stand users? So this is gonna be like Stardust Crusaders all over again. So yeah, that's pretty much it from the Adam Heart Father arc. So let's move on to the next story arc. Now this shows Kira in his new face, his new lifestyle, and his new life. He's taken the identity of Kosaku Kawajiri, and we do see his new face, which is actually not bad. It's actually pretty cool. The hair though needs some work though, but aside from that, his face is actually not bad. Although, I will admit, I'll miss the David Bowie look that Kira had. But anyway, he's now taking the life of Kosaku, who, according to his wife Shinobu, is a very boring guy and kind of a moocher in a way. And Shinobu is going through some marriage troubles because, according to her, she met Kosaku at college and started dating him because his friends thought that he was quiet and cool, but she was never actually in love with him. Eventually they got married, they had a kid named Hayato who comes off as a very quiet, reserved kid. But from what was shown in that episode, Shinobu is seriously like regretting her marriage. I mean, she's not in love with Kosaku. She finds him boring, yet she married him, and the whole reason why she was even with him in the first place was to show off her friends. So I can understand her issues about her marriage, but she kind of comes off as a total bitch, and honestly, I don't like her that much. But then again, the responsibilities for the marriage troubles is not only on her part, but also on Kosaku's part. And when Kosaku, aka Kira, shows up in his new home, he does things that Shinobu would so not expect from her husband. Being able to cook, being able to shave, and even swindling the landlord in order to pay off rent for this month and the next month. And with all that, she was very suspicious over the sudden change with her husband. And you'd think that she would be, scared or very surprised with the sudden changes. But in actuality, she then starts to fall in love with him. Which is freaking weird. Because you think that, your husband doing things that you'd least expect him to do would mean that he is completely changed, or you don't know him at all, or the fact that he's a completely different person, which is actually true because that's not Kosaku, that was Kira, but instead she falls in love with him. So her marriage has been saved because of a murderer disguising himself as her husband. Which she doesn't know that yet. I don't know if she will know that's not her husband, but if she does, then Kira would have to kill her. And maybe even her son Hayato, I don't know, but it was very weird. But yeah, that's pretty much it from the episode. So yeah, overall, this episode was pretty good. We get to learn some new stuff about Kira, which I thought was greatly appreciated. Although the whole nail clipping thing is just freaking weird. And for the first time, we got to see a ghost stand user, which, by the way, Adam Heart Father is an interesting stand, because it reminds me of Jay Giles' stand, the Hangman. But what kind of confused me about this is that what part is actually the stand's ability and what part is the ghost ability? I mean, him taking the photo might have been him invisible. He was flying while he was in the photo. I don't know if that's part of the stand ability or the ghost ability, but hopefully we'll see more of him again and probably more of his plan, which is to create more stand users to go after the main group. Which, I have some issues with that plan because what is he going to do? Just go up to random people and throw the arrow at them at the chance that they'll get a stand? And even if he does create an army of stand users, how is he going to convince them to go after the main group? I mean, with Dio, he was very manipulative and very charismatic in order to gain the loyalty of his stand users, or in some cases, he would offer them a lot of money for some of them. But Dio comes off as the kind of guy that you would understand why people would follow him and do what he says. Yoshihiro, on the other hand, I don't see anything of him that'll make me understand why the enemy stand users would go along with his plan. And speaking of enemy stand users, I'm kind of like apprehensive about the idea because it's going to be like Star Wars Crusaders all over again. We're going back to the like stand user of the week formula. But I'll be okay with it as long as the stand users and the new stands that are going to be shown later on are going to be interesting and cool. However, the number of stand users is what worries me. So I'm hoping that there's going to be at least 5, maybe less, of the enemy stand users, the new ones. I'll accept maybe 6 or 7, but if it's going to be like way more than that, then God damn it. But you have to understand why I feel like this. The thing is, I'm just disappointed that we learned some new major plot points about the arrow and we have to go back to the stand user of the week formula because I still have so many questions about this arrow because it's been confirmed that there are more than one and the rest of them could be somewhere in Moria or somewhere in other parts of the world. We don't know how many more arrows there are. We still don't know where they originally came from, who made them, who was the creator, and how they're capable of giving people stands because they have to be made of something in order to give people stands, you know. How many arrows did Enya have? For all we know, she could have like 3 or 5, but we know that she had 2. And one of them went to Keicho and the other one went to Yoshihiro. But why would Yoshihiro want the arrow? At least with Keicho, we understand why he needed the arrow. But with Yoshihiro, why did he need it? He gave his son a stand, okay, but like, what was his original intent for using the arrow? Because like, he died when Kira was like, what, 21? So like, what was his original plan? What was his original intentions about using the arrow aside from what we know now? But that was because Yoshihiro knew about Jotaro and the others going after his son. What was his original plan for using the arrow? Not only that, but when exactly did he get the arrow from Enya? And why would Enya give the arrow to Yoshihiro? Maybe in order to complete her plan? Maybe it was for the sake of Dio's plan or her plan, whatever their plan was. I just have like so many questions about this, and I know that some of them might not be answered, or none at all for all we know, because I did hear that we'll know more about the arrow in part 5, not in this part, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but you know, aside from that, the episode overall was very good. I mean, I did like how Araki utilized the myth about taking a picture of someone will capture their soul. I did like how he utilized that into a stand ability. And I will admit, Yoshihiro did come off as kind of spooky, but I will give kudos to Jotaro for being able to trap Yoshihiro like that. And did they have to make the scene where he like trapped Yoshihiro badass because it was kind of badass and it kind of been funny in a way because of the music and how it was animated, which by the way, animation artwork once again was very spot on, was very good. I actually liked how the animation was used when Jotaro and Josuke were getting torn apart. I thought that was a pretty good use of censorship in a way. And then there's Kira's new look, his new lifestyle. He's now a family man, which I am curious as to how that's going to play out. But considering that Shinobu is now in love with her husband, he might get off easy. However, how are the main group going to find him now? I don't know. They can use her with purple. I'm just saying. They can use Joseph and his stand to find him and maybe his dad. But back with Kira, the fact that he was just being himself herself and not acting like Kosaku was actually kind of funny because that made Shinobu fall in love with him. Oh, and also Kira's butt. We got to see Kira naked. Why? Because that was kind of weird. Then again, the last time we saw someone naked in Jojo was Holly, Jotaro's mom, which is even weirder. But okay. So yeah, I am looking forward and curious as to see what Kira's new lifestyle is going to be like, what his new life is going to be. I don't know if he'll continue killing off women and cutting off their hands and going on dates, but I guess he won't do that anymore. Or he could do it in secret. Oh, he's going to cheat on his wife. Jeez. Voice acting, once again, was very spot on. Yoshihiro Kira, aka Ghost Dad, was voiced by Shigeru Chiba, who has voiced various animes, some classic ones and even some newer ones. He was the narrator in Nichijou and in Fist of the North Star. He's also done Kanoji from Bleach, the guy. He also voiced various characters in the classic Dr. Slump anime series and in the Dragon Ball series, including Emperor Pilaf, Radix, Garlic Jr., and Nico-chan's servant from Dr. Slump. He voiced all of those characters. Not only that, but he also voiced Onihige, the teacher in Sakegake Otokojuku, and Maizo Ratten from the Gintama anime series. He also voiced Sasuke Sarugakure from Ranma Half and Buggy from One Piece. Shinobu, Kira's new wife, is voiced by Yu Shimamura, who has voiced Karu Mizusaki from Out Noah Zero, Katen Kyokotsu, Shunsui Zanpakuto Toasphere from Bleach, and you probably know her best as Annie from Shingeki no Kyojin, aka Attack on Titan. Now, the next episode is going to be the 100th episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so yeah, it's a huge milestone for JoJo. And the next one is called Junkin Boy is Coming. That means the next episode, there's gonna be some rock, paper, scissors. Oh, great. I mean, like, it's JoJo. Anything can come off as ridiculous, over the top, very funny, and entertaining. So they'll obviously do that with rock, paper, scissors, but I don't know. I mean, considering all those major plot points that we learned from the main story, we have to go back to the standards of the Weave formula, and the first one is going to be rock, paper, scissors. So there's gonna be a stand user that uses rock, paper, scissors or something. I don't know. I'm kind of like hesitant on the next episode, but all I can hope for is that it will be a good, entertaining episode. But I'll just have to find out later on. So tell me, guys, what did you think of this episode of Diamonds Unbreakable? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of Yoshihiro Kira and his stand, Adam Heartfather? Any possible theories or ideas about this whole thing about the arrow, and how do you honestly feel about Yoshihiro creating more enemy stand users? Because, well, I'm still kind of apprehensive on that, but as long as the stands are interesting and the stand users are interesting, then I'm okay with that. Just make sure that it is not a lot of stand users because, well, I really do like the main plot, you know, I'm just saying. Also, what did you think of Kira's new look and his new lifestyle? And what did you think so far about Shinobu? Because personally, like, I get her issues, but on the other hand, she kind of comes off as a bitch. So I technically don't really like her, honestly. I don't know. I tend to not like characters that people like in this series. I don't know what's up with that, but tell me your thoughts about the episode in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamonds Unbreakable episode 25. I'm going to follow 27, and I'll see you guys next time on the 100th episode of JoJo. Episode 26, Junkin Boy's Coming. Okay, but until then, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.